PJ Facts. PJ Facts.
But if spare time to come and talk to us, wanted to find out from you how and when did you first meet the late General?
Thank you very much. Yes, as already known, I'm General Katumba Amala. I knew General Aronda first. I met him when he was still working in intelligence. I think that's way back in around the 1980s, 89, 90, when he was still working in intelligence. We didn't have a lot of interaction then. By then, I was an ADC to the Army Commander then. We used to call them Army Commander. That was General Tumwine. And so because of his duties, he used to come in the office, but would interact very briefly. But later on, we came to work closely when he went to command the Armored Brigade. This was mostly 1997 during the operations in West Nile. That's when we worked very closely because he had the assets, he was commanding the assets which I needed to do the operation in West Nile against West Nile Bank front. By then I was the coordinator of the operations in West Nile. Yeah. I was a colonel then, and I think it was, I don't recall correctly, but I think it was a lieutenant colonel by rank. So we worked together to plan that operation because he was providing the armored assets. Actually, during that operation, we shared a trench. We shared the trench together as we were overseeing the operation. That's when I got to work with him very closely.
What kind of man did he strike you as?
You see, General Aronda is a person who was kind of a calm, quiet, and I think his quietness could be mistaken for being proud or unapproachable. But was a very quiet person. Yeah. In the trenches, after that, we separated again. He went back when the operation was over. He went back to Masaka. Then later, we came to work together again when I became the Commander Land Forces. And by then it was the CDF. And because of it was my senior, and I was reporting to him as the Commander Land Forces. During that period, I think one specific operation I can remember where I got very close to him and I could see his cool demeanor was when we were launching Operation Amisom, the operation in Somalia. That was 2007. And we had a situation which was very dicey. We had part of our troops on the ground, part of our troops which were going through the Kenya using the water. They had not yet reached Somalia. And then in the middle of deploying these troops, one of our aircraft gets hit. Now, This is where his cool nature came out very prominently, because as a commander, possibly the two of us could have panicked with having half of the troops in Entebbe, small troops on the ground, some troops are still on the way, and then an aircraft has been hit. But when we met, when we talked, we decided that come what may, the operation must be concluded. And that called for a cool, a cool commander, somebody who could not be, jacked out of because of a situation which happened. I remember when we met, in our interaction, he said, Katumba, this is why we are commanders. We must make the hard decisions. Do we sacrifice those troops on the ground, or we ensure that the operation is completed? So we went ahead, and now it is history. The operation has been a success, and I think it has been a big landmark on the UPDF as a force. Then, of course, I worked with him also briefly. When I left Land Forces, I became the Inspector General of Police. Which came first? No, it is Inspector General of Police which came first. Then I became the CDF after when it was transferred to the ministry. Now, General Aronda, and I can pride to say maybe we have some similar characteristics, some kind of. He's one person who loved this country with a passion. He loved his country. And for him, it was not about positions. It was about work and working for his nation. And this came out very, very clearly when he was moved to become the Minister of Internal Affairs. Usually when there is those kind of changes, people talk a lot. General Aronda never showed any signs of that he was disappointed by being moved from CDF to become a Minister of Internal Affairs. Little did I know that I was going to follow him in a short while, for me as a Minister of State. But the way he took that deployment was like a learning curve for me, because more or less we were like following each other. He moves to CDF, I move there. He moves out to ministry, I move out of the army to the ministry. So I took a cue from the way he handled the situation, to also, handle what came out at that time. I think you remember the kind of negative comments about how somebody can move from CDF to Minister of State, but my friend had already moved into that, and I didn't look at it as a strange thing. So what did he do for the army, and what would he be remembered for? Many times these days we talk a lot about Wazalendo Circle. Among the brainchild of Wazalendo Circle was the late General Aronda. And he was really determined to convince the soldiers the need to save money and the need to plan for their future beyond the uniform. And I think today, people who are enjoying the benefits of the circle should really remember the contributions of General Aronda. But also General Curry, because he was also very vocal about the circle. So you could see a person who was not only interested in seeing these soldiers in uniform and possibly on duty stations, but somebody who thought about their lives beyond duty. And that's why he was encouraging them to do the circles, to join the circle and save money. And I think those who followed his advice are now reaping benefits. The other thing I knew about General Aronda is being a workaholic. If he was given a task to work, he would leave no stone unturned. And I remember vividly what happened when he went to the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and some of us civilian friends were saying, this man is driving us like military men. He doesn't know that we are civilians. But what he wanted was to see that the job is done. He was a workaholic. He would stay in office and really ensure that what he wanted to be done is done. I never encountered a situation where General Aronda raised his voice. He would communicate in his calm way, but firmly, without raising a voice. I don't recall anywhere where I had him raise a voice or show any emotions out of a situation. So he had that calmness on him. Yeah. So I think this is what I can say about my friend. We had become very close because we were sharing a lot in common, and he was a good listener too. He was a good listener. He would listen to you, then he would put his point across calmly, and many cases you'd see where his logic comes from. I think he also did a lot in when he came the CDF. We were at the time of getting the two services, the land forces and the air force. You remember at first we were called the army. Now we had two services, the air force and the land force. Now he managed the process of ensuring that these two arms are established and people can understand the functions of the services as opposed to the army, the one army entity. So it was of course a challenge because I don't think he picked it from any books, but again because he was willing and ready to share, to discuss even with his juniors, he was able to ensure that these two arms get entrenched, and then we have the two services now functional as they are.
Okay. I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add.
No, I think that's all.
Okay, so maybe we could talk about the memorial lecture.
Mm.
Maybe I should ask, what lessons do you think the youth
Mm.
can draw from this?
Well, I think one of the things the youth and Ugandans should draw from General Aronda's period of service is that when you are called to serve, regardless of where you are called, put in your best. Because General Aronda put in his best in all areas where he served. Wherever he went through, be it in the armored brigade, he left a mark. He would make things change, he would create a change. So I think that for the youth and Ugandans, if we could all commit ourselves, to working for our nation, our country, then I think we would make this country a better place to live in.
Then lastly, on the memorial lecture, why do you think it's important to recognize or hold such lectures?
Well, I think if somebody has done something good, it should be recalled. It should be recognized and remembered for it. And I think it is worthy having that memorial lecture so that we don't lose people talk about him. It could become one or two people may pick a cue from the lessons which he left behind, and it could move another person, maybe improve on his or her life, because of what he hears about General Aronda. So I'm happy that this is being done and that is being recognized because, truly speaking, he had a lot he contributed to this country and to where we are now. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
PJ Facts.